All right, so this is the fourth interview. Technically take two. We had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but hopefully we've remedied said situation. So anyway, my guest today is a good friend of mine, known him for a while, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I am Alexander Woody, also known as Coolcat001100 on YouTube and a few other sites, though I'm also sometimes called the Gaming Cat. It's a real pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So anyway, we're going to go right into the questions. So you've already answered who you are. So what exactly is your occupation?
Occupation as in what I do on the internet?
Yeah, just on the internet.
Well, from 2013 to 2018, I made YouTube poops. Mine were the kind that were recognizable by leaning more into the satirical slash parody kind of style than the trippy and crazy kind of style, but it was what I enjoyed doing. It was what got me into YouTube poop, and doing so earned me quite a bit of recognition. Then in 2018, I realized, I've come really far, but there's not much left that I want to do with it, so I decided, alright, you know what, I'll choose this moment to go out on a bang and end as well as I can. So I did that, and nowadays I focus more on trying to develop my resume and getting a good position in the industry so I can become a film editor.
All right, cool. That's not too far off from what I'm doing right now. I mean, I've pretty much been on hiatus from YouTube poops since like late last year.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. It's one of those
you know,
things that comes out best when your passion is fully behind it, and if it's not, then don't bother.
right. It's like I've kind of had a desire to keep making YouTube poops. I just don't have any real motivation. And not only that, but some of the sources I want to use, I feel like my channel would kind of be at risk if I did make them. Or, what's it called? Either that or that's like I've tried using obscure sources that I just like can't finish because they just don't give me enough to work with.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I made that mistake a few times early myself where, like, I used a source that I was really passionate about, but I realized it didn't give me enough to work with, and the product came out kind of half-baked as a result.
Right. So, what are you working on right now in terms of like if still making YouTube videos?
Well, my videos nowadays are really just whatever it is I feel like making with no real tying theme together. Because, like, one of the reasons why I want to retire from YouTube poop is that now that I don't have the, like, reputation of a currently active YouTube pooper, then there's no expectations for me to keep making them or to, like, try to make a new one every so often. So now it's just, if there's something I really want to make, then I can make it, and it feels really, really nice to be in that position where, there's no real expectations or the like.
Right. So I've seen that you were doing like some weird like ASMR CDI videos.
Yes, yes, like, one thing that has been, like, kind of a tying theme with some of them is, like, I got the crazy idea to, like, make ASMR videos based on classic YouTube poop sources, like the CDI games and whatnot, and those are always super fun to do. Uh, as a matter of fact, the
Yeah.
next one I'll be doing is going to be an ASMR video of Krusty Towers edited, which I'm really excited about.
Oh boy, that should be interesting. It's like
Absolutely.
uh it's like could you give us a little sample of that?
Oh boy, like, the classic opening. So, I was all ready to fuck the fucking pirate in the ass. So, SpongeBob, so, here's where the bizarre twist comes in. SpongeBob, I shit in the pirate's pants. Oh, I can't believe I
Oh,
got through that without breaking
it's
down.
like or I could do the welcome to the Krusty Towers where no, welcome to the Krusty Dildo where our motto is we shall never shit on the bed.
Oh, that's
I,
great. I'd like a double scrotum in the butt cheeks and extra shit.
I'd like a dick and nutsack.
Fuck no, I'm not queer.
I can't wait for you to do the part where he says, Patrick, why do you want to fuck a man? Sometimes I just need to shoot my cum.
Oh man, that's gonna be great.
It's like, I didn't know there would be a test. I have AIDS.
Exactly. Every time I've tried to make one of these, like the biggest challenge is always trying to do it without laughing, and this is by far going to be the hardest for that.
It's gonna be. I'm not gonna lie though. Do you think it'll be hard to get away with the part where Patrick drops the N bomb?
I actually have a bit of like an idea for that. I think that for a split second when he says the word, I'm going to show a picture of me holding up the N-word pass.
Oh, nice. And you won't actually say the word.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know what's funny? There's footage of Johnny Knoxville actually saying the N word in the
No kidding.
Jackass #2, the commentary track.
Really now?
Yeah, because they did a skit with 3-6 Mafia, and they dropped the N bomb. Like 3-6 Mafia dropped the N bomb during the skit. So Johnny was just kind of like saying, "Yeah, the what's it called? That was." We were trying to make that the subtitle for the movie, Jackass #2, swallow it, N-word, you know? But, anyway, let's see. To quote Oni and Psychic Pebbles, we're not racist.
We promise.
We're gonna sell the apples on the black market. All right, so I got a few more questions for me, and then we'll go to Twitter. So what's your favorite TV show / movie?
My favorite movie is definitely without a doubt Inglourious Bastards, because Quentin Tarantino has always been my favorite filmmaker ever since I really got into film and analyzing film, and like there's not a single movie of his that I would call bad. Like even the worst of his movies isn't worse beyond okay, and Inglourious Bastards is definitely the one that impressed me the most with its writing, its style, its pacing, its action. It all like comes together and just it impresses me every time I see it, by far.
I definitely am a big fan of Tarantino's films. I mean, Pulp Fiction's in like my top 5 favorite
Classic
movies
movie,
ever.
classic.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs,
Another good
Kill
one.
Bill, Kill Bill Volume 2 and 1. I don't know why I just quoted Kill Bill backwards, Volume 2, 1. Volume 1 and 2.
Wanted to mix
They're
it up,
both,
I guess.
Both good movies. Yeah, both good movies. But also, one of my other personal favorites is Django Unchained.
Oh, Django, that's another great one. That'd be. I don't know if like Pulp Fiction or Django would be the second place for me, but either way, it's like a really close tie.
Yeah, I definitely like that Leonardo DiCaprio was willing to do like a side role rather than a main role in that movie.
Oh, absolutely. And like he sells that role so friggin' well. Like the way he gets into it, the way that he owns that role, like it's really damn cool, especially considering that like he's got to play a character that like even he was personally disgusted by, but like the way he gets into it, like he really does sell. That film is just so full of great performances by everyone.
Right, and that whole dinner scene where they're interrogating
that.
him. He improvised that whole thing, and he actually sliced his hand open on a piece
He totally
of glass.
did. Like that's so cool how he just kept going even in spite of that. Like that's the kind of method acting that anyone should be proud of.
He was I think he was definitely Oscar worthy for that, for just that scene alone.
Absolutely.
But, anyway, I got one more question before we go to Twitter questions. What's the most embarrassing thing to happen to you?
Most embarrassing thing to happen. That's a good question because I've been embarrassed so many times. Let's see. There is like one thing that does easily come to mind. Like it's more private than like what a lot of people consider an embarrassing moment, but let me put it this way. I should start by saying that I am on the autism spectrum. I have Asperger's syndrome, and this moment made me straight up say, Sean, this is the most autistic I have ever felt around you. Like, what happened was we were playing Super Mario Party together. We were on the board that had King Babam on it. And every time someone moved near the center, this number would tick down. And I asked Sean, so does something happen when the number reaches 0? And Sean turns to me and says, no, King Babam just decides, hey, you know what, I'm bored, I won't actually do anything. And then he sits back down, the timer resets. And I say to him, oh, really? His sarcasm completely flew over my head, even though it should have been the most obvious sarcasm in the world.
Oh boy. Yeah, that definitely sounds like one of the more embarrassing moments in your life.
Yeah,
But,
I was just like, fuck, am I really this dense? How long has it been since I hung around another person physically?
so now we're gonna get to some Twitter questions. Let's start with Biodegradable asks, how are you enjoying your new career path editing for YouTubers?
It's really, really nice, to be honest. Like, working for Josh Scorcher has been great. It's given me, like, a lot of a great opportunity to work as a team and, like, to work with a style that I didn't really get to, like, do anything amazing with on my own, but with Josh and with all these other great editors, I can really, really, like, expand and experiment with, and it's really great. Just a few weeks ago, actually, I edited what is a commissioned video for Josh, and it is an entirely solo project that is by far my favorite thing of his that I have edited yet, and I'm super excited for when it goes up. Just because, like, as a solo project, it felt like I got to really do a lot of creative stuff with it, and I don't want to step on his toes or anything, but it almost feels like just as much my video as it does his, which feels really, really cool.
So let's see. Next question. What's your favorite male/female fictional character?
Jim Raynor from StarCraft 2, just because his constant, unending desire to fight for what's right, even when everything in life was constantly, like, beating him down, his devotion to helping people and, like, overthrowing tyrants and saving lives, even as he was losing so much, even after he lost so much in the past, even though he knew that he would probably never get any reward for it. Just that sense of you don't do the right thing for personal gain, you do the right thing because you do the right thing. That always inspired me. It, like, really helped build my sense of morality as a child, and even nowadays, like, you know, he may not be, like, the most, like, amazingly written character ever in a lot of people's minds, but to me, he is the ultimate paragon for how I want to live by, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, that's great. If I had to choose my favorite fictional character, if we're talking about a well-developed character, I would say, for me, I guess it would be Aang from Avatar, because
Very good choice, very good choice.
I don't know. I mean, I'm on my path to. I'm trying to become a vegetarian.
Oh, no kidding.
So he and I share that. Also, I like his. I like that even though he had, he had to fight like the baddest like person in the world, the Fire Lord, and the world would pretty much be better off if he was just straight up dead. But even Aang was like, even though this is like the worst human being in the world, I can't kill him. So, like, he did everything in his power to find an alternative, and, like, I really commend that.
Yeah, there's something really admirable about, like, fighting against what the world deems that much, that you manage to find your own path and your own way to achieve what's right. Like, it's just like what I was saying with Raynor. Like, there's something about that devotion to the best path, even if it is the hardest, that is really inspiring.
All right, looks like we're back. We had some major technical difficulties.
Major is right. That took over an hour.
Yeah, I think my computer just literally just shit the whole bed.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm sorry you guys couldn't hear the conversation we had in between, but
we're mostly just talking about SpongeBob edits.
Yeah, and if there's one thing we hate, it's when computers shit on the bed.
Exactly.
Okay, so Isaiah the Vargas asks, what do you think of SpongeBob season 9 through 11, and would you say your video on the modern Would you say that your video on the problems with modern SpongeBob is still accurate?
I've actually started finally getting around to watching the post-sequel seasons as I've been running on the treadmill recently, and it really is, like, so refreshing to see that it actually has been improving. It's really cool to see how it seems like the writing staff and whatnot took a lot of the complaints that people had in mind to heart, and they decided to improve and, like, keep experimenting with what they could do while still staying true to make SpongeBob work. And whether or not it's as good, not as good, or even better than the original seasons is certainly up for debate, but it's certainly a big improvement over what we had in the mid-movie era. And while I'd say that my video is still accurate to the mid-movie era, in terms of the post-sequel era, things have definitely improved, and I am very glad to see that.
Well, that's good at least. I haven't watched too much of modern SpongeBob other than like the My Leg episode I really enjoyed.
Oh, that's one I've got to see. Like, I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things about it.
So Citizen Hull asks, what's your favorite YTP of all time?
My favorite YTP of all time is absolutely the Nightmare Before Christmas Who Skellington's Revenge by Mo Bros. I absolutely adored from beginning to end, just all the great humor, all the wonderful visuals, how it manages to, like, actually create kind of some semblance of, like, a serious plot out of the craziness going on. I absolutely adore it so much just for how much effort is clearly put in and how much of it pays off in so many wonderful ways. It's just the best, in my opinion, and I'm not sure if we'll ever get something as amazing as it again.
Mobros in general, and especially Skellington's Revenge, was like definitely one of my favorite YouTube poops from back in the day. It still holds up really well.
Absolutely.
Editing is just amazing. There's been a few poops like since then that I think are like just equally as good. Maybe not necessarily story-driven poops, but are still like just really entertaining.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I definitely enjoy most of Jimmy Davis and Jowlerbo. I think they're like two of the best YouTube poopers today.
Yeah, they certainly seem to be like one of the biggest figures in the modern era we're currently in.
If we're talking about like story-driven poops, though, Mashed Bandicoot was definitely like one of the like better story-driven poops like since Skellington's Revenge.
Oh yeah, I've heard a bit about him as well.
Well, it was that was N.P. Carlson did Mashed Bandicoot.
I gotcha.
Have you ever seen it?
I have not.
You haven't? Damn.
I know, surprising.
Yeah, you should definitely get on that.
I gotcha.
This is from the DM Productions. Of your own YouTube poops, what are your top 3 and your bottom 3?
My top one is definitely my final one. Bill Spinge and the Terrible Tyranny of MC Vadoodle. That was like, I always intended for that to like be my ultimate one, like my grand finale, and I wanted to make it as good as I possibly could, and I think that I definitely succeeded with that. So yeah, it's my favorite by far. Second favorite, gonna have to. I think for second favorite I'll go with Mr. Krabby Krabby Avenges Pearl Harbor, just because that was another one that I had a lot of fun making. It was very one that I got a lot creative with and was able to like shove in a lot of references for things I like, and it definitely was one of my ones that paid off the best, like clocking in at 3.5 million views. And third favorite, I'll go with Conjun Dismantles the Gulf War, my YouTube poop of Conjun House. Again, that was a very creative one, that was a very experimental kind of one, and it was working with a source that I wasn't used to, and it was an instance of that where I think it paid off very well, and I'm glad about. As for 3 least favorite, one of them would have to be the Squilliam's Massive Yacht Collection, my YouTube poop of Squilliam Returns. That was the second one I ever made. Was actually my entry for Awful Fawful's third Spingebill collab before it was canceled. And thank goodness it was canceled, because it was not good. Like, it's very clearly a very, like, early effort. A lot of the jokes in that fell flat, and the editing wasn't particularly good. Another one of my least favorite ones would be Wacky Adventures in Hell, my YouTube poop of Doom 3. It just was a source that wasn't meant to be pooped. Didn't give me a lot to work with. I tried to make it work, but it was very, very hard, especially since I was still in my first year, and it was just one of those things that did not work out very well. Um, Another least favorite one, uh, bit tricky. I guess I'll have to go with my YouTube poop of Mad Horatio Loves Freddy's Camera, just because, I don't know. I look back on that and I remember like there wasn't enough editing that I did in that. Like there was, I did I did stuff that I found funny, but there wasn't enough that I did. Like I didn't change it enough, and I think it just comes off as like not incredibly bad or even not incredibly good, just kind of forgettable as a result.
All right. I mean, I think most of us don't like our earlier YouTube poops. I mean, I could definitely tell you that like my first like three YTPs are definitely like probably my least favorite. There's a few others that I've made since then that I'm not particularly proud of.
Because it's a learning process. It's all about like getting better with time, and your early stuff is always going to be viewed in a dimmer light as a result.
Right.
Like,
So
deep down, I am proud of all my YouTube poops just on the basis that they help me grow my skill set and they all built the experience that I have today. But there are some that I look back on less fondly than others.
right. So what's your favorite video game?
StarCraft 2 always has been, always will be, pretty much. But I've said that, like, ad nauseum, so it's probably expected by this point. Some of my others include stuff like Undertale, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Doom 2016, which may soon be overtaken by Doom Eternal, depending on how my opinion goes. Max Payne 3, System Shock 2, Bayonetta 2, Wasteland 2, a lot of games with 2 on my mind. Diablo, Deus Ex, stuff like that. StarCraft 2 will always be at the top for me.
Cool. There's something we have in common with two, because my favorite game, if I had to choose one, it would be Team Fortress 2. It's a cliche choice, but I just really love like how competitive the community has gotten, even though competitive mode barely even works.
Yeah.
I've always been a more casual player in terms of just video games in general, though. So I'm not really a competitive TF2 player, but I think what really makes the game fun for me is that I like to play as the defensive classes a lot, but I don't really take the traditional route of being the like a turtle engineer or a turtle heavy where I'm just like defending like the base the whole time. I really like to experiment and go out and like try to, you know, be active in the team.
Yeah, it's the sort of game where there's something for everyone, regardless of whether you're more casual or hardcore.
Right. All right, so let's go on to the next question. When did you get into YTP?
I first discovered it back in 2010 when I was visiting my old hometown in Maryland, and my longtime friend Justin and I were just derping around on the internet together, and we happened to discover YouTube poop together just by like, I don't know, just looking up random stuff, and we found a lot of like original era kind of stuff. Like we found Hotel Mario poops, we found Super Mario World and Zelda CDI game YouTube poops. I remember this one Teen Titans YouTube poop and Lucky Star YouTube poop we found. But it was mostly like classic source, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, and I enjoyed it for a time. At one point, I slowly fell out, but then I got back into it back in 2012 when I was discovering all the big poopers on the scene at that time. And after I saw Mobros' tutorial video on it, I decided, you know what? I think I want to take a crack at this myself because I love it so much, and it's the kind of thing I've always wanted to contribute to. So, you know what? I think I'll do it.
That sounds like pretty close to like the same kind of like how did you get into YTP story. It's like we all just kind of found it at random, and then
yeah, pretty much.
There was that day we decided, hey, I'm just gonna do this,
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, so next question. Chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
Chocolate.
Chocolate!
For a moment, I was actually wondering, wait, is chocolate or vanilla ice cream the username?
What? What are they selling?
They're selling chocolate!
Chocolate!
Yeah!
I remember when they first invented chocolate. Sweet, sweet chocolate. I always hated it.
Oh, but this chocolate's not for eating, it's for you rub it on your skin and it makes you live forever. No,
Live
no,
forever,
no,
you
no,
say?
no, no.
I'll take one. Come on, you lazy Mary. Stop rubbing me with that chocolate.
I hate you.
So, what's your favorite anime?
Favorite anime is Interviews with Monster Girls. Just because, like, it's kind of odd because, like, it's not talked about in the popular anime zeitgeist, and even when it first aired, it was only barely cracked the top 10 of its season. But I love so much how it goes as for being a allegory for living with disability, and it does so in such a creative way that is really cute and really charming, but at the same time really offers insight into what it's like if you understand the allegory. And it's the sort of thing where even like knowing what it represents and knowing what it's a metaphor for makes it so rewarding to watch and like get insight into. But even if you don't know it, it's still a really cute and really charming and just unflinchingly optimistic show on its own. And I love so much how it just like puts you in such a good place and in such a good mood while watching it, while at the same time being so optimistic about the topic of disability and understanding it.
It sounds really interesting. I haven't heard of it myself, but it sounds like a cool show. I don't watch too much anime myself, but there's a few that I've gotten into, like Kill la Kill, and
That's a good one.
even though I don't watch a lot of anime, my favorite is probably Neon Genesis Evangelion.
That's one that my friend Mark got into recently. It's a classic to be sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, so now we got two questions left. So, how do you feel? How did you feel when your predictions for a Jedi Knight Academy sequel for your games that need sequels list ended up sort of play? What?
I saw that question earlier. I think I know how to answer it. Like, because I originally said I thought it'd be cool if the movies went down the route of Rey becoming like the next one to train a new generation of Jedi. It'd be cool to see a successor to the Jedi Academy game that expanded on that. Um, and it's kind of a mixed bag for me because I'm someone who loves The Last Jedi but hates The Rise of Skywalker. So it feels like you were so close. Why did you fuck it up with this one awful movie? Why? Like, look, I enjoyed The Rise of Skywalker for a few reasons, but there was so much it did wrong, and it could have been so much better, and it's frustrating to me.
I didn't even see Rise of Skywalker because
You might as well not.
I honestly wasn't even a fan of The Last Jedi, so my interest in the Star Wars sequels was pretty much dead after that. So
Yeah.
But anyway, just to reread that question because I may have read it wrong. It just says, "How did you feel when your predictions for a Jedi Knight Academy sequel from your games that need sequels list ended up sort of playing out in The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker?" So you just pretty much answered that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it won't fully play out unless, like, a legit game comes along that expands on it, but, like, my interest will depend on how much of the stink of The Rise of Skywalker is on it.
Right. Okay, well, we're pretty much ready to wrap it up. So I'll leave you with this last question from Babcheck IRL. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention the names of people, but I'm just trying to run through these. So he asks, would you ever fight Coolcat in a boxing match?
Hell yeah, I would. I'm a second degree black belt in 2 martial arts. I'll knock his shit down.
Damn, son.
I'm not afraid. Bring him right out.
What?
Bring him right here.
Imagine doing like a Mortal Kombat fatality with Coolcat.
Absolutely, I will. I'll rip off his tail and shove it down his throat. I'm not scared.
I'd love to see that. All
I'd love
right,
to do
well,
it.
all right. Well, anyway, do you have any closing remarks?
Um, stay in school, brush your teeth, kill demons,
Good
bang anime
advice.
girls.
And bang anime girls. That's not going to be in the school version, but at least that'll make for a good ending for my YouTube channel. So anyway, that's about it. So I never know how to end these things. So I guess we're just gonna say
This has been a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I got the chance to do this.
yeah, exactly. If I wanted to end this the proper way, I'll just end it as randomly as possible.
All right.
I got nothing. All right.
Well, that is kind of random.
All right. Well, that's about it. Bye.